everybody? My name is Zach with Android Digest, and I'm back at you with another video. And today I'm going to be talking about the Sprint and T-Mobile merger. So I want to talk about this merger. It's actually very near and dear to my heart because I actually used to work at Sprint. I worked there for about 4 years. It was actually a great time in my life. I absolutely loved it. And I heard about the Sprint T-Mobile merger, and there's been a lot of debate around it. So I know some of you might come at this from a different angle than me. You might come at it from another perspective. So keep in mind, I am going to have a opinion. It's going to be one opinion, and some of you might not like that, okay? And I understand that. And if you don't like it, rather than dislike the video, maybe you leave a comment, okay? I would love to discuss it with you. I'd love to get your thoughts and perspectives because look, I can be wrong too, okay? But I do want to talk about this because it is a huge merger, right? A lot of people are on Sprint. There are some people that are going to be losing their jobs. There's a lot of transition that's going to be going on, and you might get more signal, but prices might go up. What does that mean for these prepaid companies? There's a lot of debate around all these things, and I believe the Sprint and T-Mobile merger is a good thing. Now, hold on if you disagree with me, okay? I only have one reason why. I'm not going to go into a big long list of facts. I'm not going to go on a big debate. You're not going to see a lot of cutscenes in this video, a lot of editing. I just want to keep it raw and keep it real with you, okay? I believe there is one reason why this merger is a good thing, and that is simply because Sprint is absolutely awful. Sprint is awful from my experience. Now, keep in mind, I used to work at Sprint and I absolutely loved it. The company was very good to me, so I actually think high things of the company itself. I think high things of the employees, of the management, and the staff that I worked with. I absolutely love my time at Sprint. But Sprint has been a mess of a company for a long time, and I've just got to be honest with that. So if we look at the history of Sprint, Sprint was losing money year after year after year after year, okay? If you looked at reports, if you looked at articles that would pop up, you would see that Sprint was losing money, and Sprint is losing money again. And in 2018, it was quite a shock when Sprint actually gained a little money. It was something that was very surprising to people because it has not happened often, okay? In fact, they were losing money for like 11 years prior to that, I believe. So they've been losing money for a very long time and losing money. And what Sprint does, okay, they feel like they need to gain subscribers, so they have to come out with all these crazy promotions. So Sprint comes out with a bunch of free phones. They come out with these crazy deals. They do drop prices very low, but you have to remember that is not sustainable. You can't just give everything away for free, go more into debt, and expect that to help you. They're hoping to do that, lure customers, and they were hoping to keep those customers away from other companies. Well, what was happening is they were only keeping customers when they had free phones, when they had these crazy deals. And when other things started to happen, right, when they started to drop these things, they started to go to regular pricing, they would still lose subscribers. They would lose money. So the only way they could keep subscribers is by making everything free. I mean, you see this article here, it does talk about the Sprint debt, and it actually rose. This is an article from January. It rose to $34 billion. $34 billion of debt. And when you have a company that every year is not profitable, okay, every year after year after year, and then they make profit maybe once out of 10 or 11 years, what are you going to do? Are you going to trust that company to keep making money? Are you going to trust them to keep growing? Because the argument that I see, okay, and keep in mind, I very much am an understanding person, right? There's two sides of the spectrum. You have the people who want the government to stay out of everything, and then you have those other people who they want the government involved because they believe the government can help keep things fair between both sides. And I'm a little bit in the middle, okay? I'm not someone who's going to get involved in that debate heavily. I'm not someone who's going to get involved in this back and forth political debate, okay? So the reason why I think this merger is good has nothing to do with government involvement. It doesn't have to do with the fact that, we do or don't want the government involved, or they should just do things themselves. The only reason I think it's good is because Sprint is not a viable option as a competitor. So the reason so many people are opposing this merger, the reason so many people are just getting so riled up about the merger is because they say Sprint is a viable competitor. And if we drop that fourth viable competitor, that fourth option in the wireless market, and we're only down to 3 big options, then prices are going to rise. And that is just silly to me, and I've got to be honest, okay? I'm sorry if that's your opinion and you disagree. Like I said, please leave a comment below. I would love to discuss this and really have a debate with a lot of you here. But Sprint has been losing money for so long that I believe you can't just expect SoftBank, who owns Sprint, it's a big Japanese company, they do have a lot of money. You can't just expect them to constantly pour money to bail out Sprint, right? Sprint has shown a track record to lose money and not get it back, okay? So you can't expect some billionaire just to bail them out all the time. So when you're in this situation and Sprint is losing all this money and they're losing it year after year after year, I think we have to come to grips with the fact that they are not a reliable competitor. And that Sprint, whether we like it or not, was going to be gone a few years from now, right? They were going to be toast no matter what. So when you think of it that way, we were already going to have only 3 competitors, except T-Mobile was going to be a lot weaker than the other 2. You know, Verizon and AT&T are really known as the top 2 competitors. T-Mobile, by public opinion, is really the number 1, right? Everyone believes in T-Mobile. I think a lot of us see this vision of T-Mobile. You know, the CEO, the former CEO of T-Mobile is just a very big visionary guy. I mean, we definitely believe that. I think a lot of us do. But the problem was T-Mobile still, they didn't have quite the infrastructure. They didn't have quite the things going on that, you know, Verizon and AT&T did. They have a little bit of a head start. So T-Mobile needed a little extra boost, okay? So it's very possible that T-Mobile would have, for all we know, became the next Sprint. You know, I'm not saying that's really likely because T-Mobile has been on the up and up. They've been making money. They can invest that money into their network, right? So I don't believe that would be the case. But if Sprint were to fall off, if Sprint were to just die 3 or 4 years from now, no deals made, then all of those resources from Sprint, right, they would not have been invested very, I would say, properly, right? Maybe they would have been divided up among the carriers, they would have bid for those, and in the end, it's just not, just wouldn't have been a good thing, right? It just would not have been a good deal. So for me, when I look at it, the deal required that Dish, it was requiring certain conditions that Dish would buy a lot of these assets of these companies and that they would be able to use their towers for years. So they had to sell some spectrum to Dish. They had to also give up some of their assets so that Dish Network, okay, the cable company, if you didn't know, they actually are going to be able to use this Sprint T-Mobile network. I believe it was for like 5, 6, maybe even 7 years, okay? They're going to be using this network for a long time. And as they're using this network, they're going to be able to build up their own on the back end. And they bought this spectrum so that they could hopefully be a reliable competitor. Now, do I think that Dish is going to have the same spectrum as Sprint did, let's say 3 or 4 years from now or 5 years from now? Probably not. I do believe Dish could be more profitable than Sprint, and that profit should help generate a little more revenue, which should make them a better competitor than Sprint. So that's why I'm excited. I'm excited that T-Mobile will have more spectrum. And let's be real, what if prices go up? What if prices go up $10? They still got to compete with each other. There's still 3 people competing, okay? So prices, they go up $5 or $10 a month. That's a lot of money, okay? I get it. It's a little over $100 a year, but my word, we are going to have much better signal. You know, Sprint, okay? I've had Sprint in the country. Sprint does not work. I've lived in the country in several places over the years, and I've had 0 coverage in the country. Every time I travel through the country, I get nothing. And half the time in big cities, you get nothing. So when you're dealing with Sprint, you get nothing. Well, now you get Sprint and T-Mobile together. Hopefully they can combine and be able to build a little more in these smaller communities. I know they did make promises. I get it. Companies don't always keep their promises, okay? But I really hope they could do that. I'm hoping that, yes, there are going to be a lot of people that lose jobs. I'm hoping they can at least keep the same amount of jobs or gain jobs like they promised. So there's a lot of things these companies promise, even if they don't all come to pass, even if some people lose their jobs. I'm so sorry for some of you that may lose your job in this process. But either way, I think this is going to be a good merger. And the main reason why is the alternative, okay? The alternative in my mind was not Sprint being a great company which was just oozing with money, that was paying back its debt. I think the reality was that Sprint was going to continue to lose money, they were going to continue to tank, and they were pretty much going to have to go bankrupt and just sell off all their assets. And I think that was more likely, and I think they were going to stop getting bailed out. I mean, they literally had to like lease network equipment, okay, just to get people off their backs, just to get another couple years with their debt. I mean, they're just pushing and pushing back, okay? So I think at some point they were going to have to pay the price, and they were going to have to lose absolutely everything. So I think it was a good time to cut bait. I think it was a great time to make a deal. And I think for us as consumers, now instead of getting nothing, we at least get Dish as a fourth competitor and get some good options. So let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you think of my opinion. Hopefully you definitely thought this was informative. I really hope you did believe this was an informative video, so I appreciate you watching. Feel free to give me a like, but also give me that subscribe, okay? That's very important. Hit that subscribe button. We're still trying to gain some traction, and I'm excited. There is the Moto G stylus. If you didn't know, a new stylus phone is coming out at a very reasonable price, around $300 or $400. I'm gonna try to review that because it should come out around April or May. I'm thinking around May, so I'm excited about that. And you've also got the Google Pixel 4a. I hope to maybe review that as well as the Galaxy Tab S6 Lite. So there's a lot of devices coming out, and I hope to do some reviews in the coming months. But until then, I'm absolutely going to be here with you. I'm going to be rocking some different videos and really sharing my thoughts on some different tech news in the industry. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day and enjoy your week.